Hello, my name is Joy, and I am a writer, primarily of fantasy, and this week we're going to be spending a lot of time together. I really love getting a taste of how other writers incorporate creativity into their week and do life in general, so I thought it might be fun to share a little taste of what my weeks look like. Maybe it can be inspiring to you, or maybe it's more likely encouraging to at least see another person that is really just doing their best. For most of us, this is not our full-time job. It's something that we have to weave in and out of everything else that's going on. Just for some context for like what my life looks like, so you have an idea of like, I guess, what you're getting into. I am a wife and I am a mom of 2 kids. So I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So I'm technically a stay-at-home mom most of the time, but I also work part-time. Some of it is out of the home, but most of it is also from home. So I work, usually it's about 20 hours a week. And that part-time job is like very irregular. I have a couple of consistent meetings every week, but for the most part, I just kind of work when I can. And sometimes over the weekend, like I have to do like photography and edit photos and put them out on social media for the organization that I work for, that sort of thing. It's not full-time like 9 to 5 work hours or anything. It's a little sporadic and chaotic. So like I never really know exactly what my week is going to look like, but you know, trade-offs, right? Like it's not super structured. So like it's a little unpredictable, but it's also pretty flexible. I also run 2 YouTube channels. So I actually have a plant YouTube channel that I've had for years before I started this YouTube channel. So like I've got all that content to film and put out and that sort of thing. And I'm writing a book or multiple books. I have a whole writing journey, that I'm on. And in general, I try to have a social life and be healthy and exercise and I love to read books. I have a lot of hobbies. So yeah, my life is very full, but I do feel really blessed. Like I have a lot of really good things happening as well. So that's kind of just like a little snapshot of maybe what to expect. And this week is a very chaotic week for me to choose to do this because first of all, my daughter's on spring break. So she's home from school and my husband has an especially busy work week this week. So he's not going to be home as often. And my mother-in-law, who normally watches the kids twice a week so that I can have some more dedicated work time, she's on vacation, so she's not here. So I'm really just like, I'm being a lot more of a full-time mom than I normally am because I do normally have like a little bit of help with my daughter being in preschool and with my mother-in-law being around. And I'm so grateful to have family that can be around to like help me. Like I truly do have a village, which like I could not do it without my village. All that being said, today it's Wednesday afternoon. So I've already had a very full day. We all woke up pretty early. I took the kids to a coffee shop and a playground and Target. And then I had a friend come over to watch the kids for a couple of hours so that I could go to a work meeting and get some work done. Then I came back and now we're here and I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do the rest of the afternoon before I have to make dinner. Thankfully, my son is napping and my daughter, she's been like outside all day pretty much up until this point. So I'm letting her play some Minecraft because she was begging. She loves to play Minecraft. It's actually adorable, but it's nice because it does give me a little bit of time, a little bit of peace and quiet to do like a little something for myself, In general this week, I mean, because this is like a writing vlog, right? I am going to be working on a new first draft for a new project. If you saw my last video that came out, I was doing a lot of brainstorming for a project and I am now about 6,000 words into, it's like a hybrid between like a 0 draft, first draft and like expanded outline at this point. But yeah, I'm 6,000 words in, which is really exciting. I've been working on that the last couple of weeks and I'm really excited about this project. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to work on and I've really been thinking about it a lot and it's been a great distraction from Project Phoenix, which if you don't know, I finished the first draft of that high fantasy project less than a month ago, but actually at this point, it's almost been a month. No way. That's crazy. So yeah, I haven't really been working on that project for like a month. I guess I did do like some revision checklist stuff, and I did start the second draft, but I wrote like the first chapter of the second draft and then put it down basically. So I'm like letting that project marinate until probably like another month. I'm going to say. I think I'm going to pick it back up in late May unless I'm running with this current project, Project Saul, and like it's just all coming together. Like, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I will be talking more about that project later on because I don't think right this second I'm going to write. I think I am going to actually edit a video because I'm a little bit behind. I have not begun editing my like video that's supposed to come out this week yet, which is the aforementioned brainstorming video. So I gotta do that. And then tonight, like late tonight, I got invited to do a writing live stream on Tia's channel, which I'm excited for, but it's gonna be like 11 p.m. It's like a slumber party, late night cozy live stream. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. But yeah, it's gonna be Tia, Saoirse, and Anna New. I'm very excited to just chat with those ladies and to hopefully get some writing done during that period of time. But okay, also really quickly, I have a little show and tell for you guys before I start editing this video because there's really no one else in my life that is like gonna fully appreciate these things. I feel okay, well maybe not necessarily, but like I don't know, I just want to show you guys some things that I've got in the last few days that I'm excited about. So the first thing is this nice fancy pencil case, because if you saw my reading vlog that I posted a couple weeks ago at this point, I was looking for comps for Project Phoenix. I unlocked the annotation side of my brain and now I can't stop, won't stop. And yeah, I really missed annotating. I've always been the type of person that took a lot of notes in class and like had all the highlighters and all the pens. You know, I would doodle all the time and like make my notes really pretty. And yeah, I was always that person. I've always loved annotating, but I haven't really annotated since college until like a few weeks ago or a few months ago at this point, I started annotating again. So I had like all of my annotation supplies in like a gallon Ziploc bag and it was not cute at all. Functional, but not cute. But yeah, so I got this. So like it's super spacious. I've got a spot for my highlighters. I've got Post-it notes in here. It also opens on the other side and I've got like all of my tabs right here and more pens and Sharpies. Hang on, my daughter's calling for me. Okay, I'm back. Oh, and there's also like another spot right here, which has a cute bookmark that I got off of Etsy. Is that like not absolutely adorable? As well as these like clear sticky notes. So yes, now we have a single like nice spot that's compact where I can like put all my annotation supplies. Another thing that I just got this week, Meredith E. Phillips was just talking about the like Writers Helping Writers series, and I already had the Emotion Thesaurus, which I've really enjoyed using as a writing resource, but I just realized that they also have these. I think Natalie Jane Shields also talked about these recently. So between the two of those gals talking about these books, I was like, okay, I kind of want to get them. So yeah, the Conflict Thesaurus as well as the Emotional Wound Thesaurus. Like I'm really excited about these. I already started flipping through and like tabbing this and like taking some highlights for the main characters in both Project Phoenix and Project Saul, just kind of like starting to get some fun ideas about like characterization and that sort of thing. I'm loving it. I haven't really looked through the Conflict Thesaurus yet, but I'm very excited to look through that as well. These are just so full of good ideas. Oh, and then the last thing, when I was at Target today, I got one of these big ol' water bottles because your girl has not been drinking enough water, and that's another thing we're trying to change. I'm trying to drink more water, especially over the summer where I'm going to be outside a lot and I'm going to be really thirsty. It's just a good idea. I drink way too much coffee, not enough water. That's a problem. So this is your reminder, if you're not drinking water, drink your water. Okay, I've been yapping long enough. I'm gonna start editing a video. I'll edit this video for probably like 30 to 45 minutes. I'll need to make dinner. And then once the kids are in bed, my husband and I want to watch the new season of The Last of Us. I'm excited. And then of course I have like the writing live stream. So I've got a pretty full like afternoon and evening, but they're all like good things and fun things. So it'll be good.
that too. Like I'll come in for words like just.
I swear.
You're into someone else. Bring in the drug boys. That'd be fun. I don't know.
You know, I don't understand. Hello, I'm going to try to make lunch for my children while I give you guys an update. We're going to see how well I can multitask. I don't know. We're just doing an age-old classic, peanut butter and jelly. And I guess milk, because my daughter's thirsty. I hear you. I'm going to get you some milk. And an apple and pretzels, so yeah. This morning was a little bit... Do you want an apple first? Okay. I sort of inevitably end up feeding my children as I make food because they get impatient. But anyway, this morning was a little bit of a slower morning. I woke up obviously very exhausted because that stream went really late, but it was a successful stream. I started losing steam towards the end of it, but I got maybe, oh gosh, let me do math really fast. I think I got around 800 words zero drafted, so like it wasn't anything crazy. I was just trying to come up with ideas because with zero drafting, I'm trying to tell myself this story. But yeah, I hit 7,000 words. I don't know how much I've told you about what I've been writing. I have like one complete and polished scene and the rest of it is mostly like an expanded outline or zero draft. I'm just trying to figure out what the plot is, especially being a pantser normally. Like I have a hard time sitting down and plotting. So zero drafting is a nice in between where I'm telling myself the story and trying to figure out what is going to happen. But anyway, I'll talk more about that later. But as far as like this morning went, spent a lot of time just with the kids and cleaning the house and all that sort of thing. And I tried to read a little bit outside. I read all of maybe 10 pages because obviously I'm also like spending time with the kids and like get interrupted and need to help them with things. And I'm reading the second Mistborn book, The Well of Ascension, and I'm maybe, I don't know, 30% of the way through it. What? Do you want a pretzel? I normally read at nighttime because then, you know, I'm more uninterrupted, but it's also nice to like bring out the Kindle and get a few pages in if I can. All right, he's gonna eat all of his apples right now, I swear. Sorry, I had to just cut the camera and finish making their food because they were not having it. My kids are quite grouchy after spending so much time in the sun. It's actually a pretty warm day today compared to like what it has been. So once they're done eating, I'm gonna see if at least my 2-year-old will take a nap and my daughter, my 4-year-old will just have some quiet time, you know, chilling out because she's also tired, but she usually doesn't take a nap. And normally on Thursday afternoons, my mother-in-law would come over so that I can get work done and like go out and like do some things, run errands, whatever I need to do. Alas, yeah, she's not here. So that kind of changes our rhythm. I still have all these things to do. So yeah, once my son is taking his nap, I'm going to honestly like make a few really boring phone calls. I need to make some appointments. My bottom right wisdom tooth has been bothering me so bad. I think I just need to finally make the appointment and get my wisdom teeth taken out. It has never been like a good time in my life for me to get my wisdom teeth taken out, but I just need to do it. I have the referral, I just need to do it. And then yeah, I also need to like make an appointment to get a new passport. Boring appointment making stuff, and not gonna lie, calling and making appointments, it's like my least favorite part of adulthood. I swear, I'm so averse to it and it makes me anxious. I don't know why it makes me so anxious. It's just a phone call. So I just need to get over it, but it's something that I always put off. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I hope that I'm not like on hold for forever. And then after that, depending on how long making those appointments takes, I should have like roughly an hour to get some video editing done or some writing done. I guess it just depends on like what I'm in the mood for when I sit down at my laptop. And then after that, I have a small work project I need to do, and I have a work meeting at 3:15, and I'm gonna drop my kids off with my husband because he is able to kind of flex his schedule to watch them for like an hour so that I can do this meeting. What? You're a goose. Hello. Yeah, I want to give you a quick update. My afternoon ended up being something else. I did end up making those appointments and those phone calls, so like that was great. I had about an hour set aside where I could do both writing and video editing, like kind of squeezing them both in the same hour. And unfortunately, when I sat down to write, I started doing like just a little bit of brainstorming, like not even fully zero drafting. I was just kind of writing down some of the ideas that had come to my mind earlier in the day. And yeah, my tooth, I think I had mentioned that like my wisdom tooth was bothering me. It started getting bad, like really bad, and like swelling up, and like my lymph nodes hurt. Long story short, I called my dentist and we're pretty sure it's infected, which is just wonderful, right? And it's just gotten worse and worse over the course of the day. I'm probably gonna need antibiotics, and if that doesn't work, yeah, I mean, I made my appointment for my consultation for my wisdom tooth extraction, but it's not happening until like the middle of the summer. So like not great, but if I need like an emergency extraction, that might also happen. I don't know, but I'm hoping that it can be managed and I can hold off until like the middle of the summer. That would be better. So yeah, suffice it to say, I had a really hard time focusing on anything today. I did a little bit of video editing, like as much as I could bear. Yeah, I found that if I'm in pain, any sort of creative endeavor is just a lot harder for me to do. But if it's like a repetitive thing, it can almost like, I don't know, if it doesn't require that part of my brain that's more creative, I can manage okay. And the pain like kind of ebbs and flows. Like it's not constant. I mean, it's constant, like low level pain, but then like it'll like flare up and get really bad. So right now it's manageable. It's a little hard to talk, so I'm not being like quite as expressive as normal. But yeah, the rest of the afternoon after that 1 hour of like getting my personal stuff out of the way was pretty much dedicated to work. So I was just trying to push through the pain and work as much as possible, get my projects and tasks done that I needed to check off for the afternoon. And then I had that meeting. I just got back from that meeting, a little while ago. So now it's like 5 o'clock and I've got to start thinking like about dinner and, you know, getting the kids down to bed. My husband's not going to be home until like 8 p.m. tonight. So, yeah, I'm soloing it again today. I'm just gonna take it easy when it comes to dinner. It's gonna be so simple. It's just gonna be like spaghetti and meatballs and broccoli. And for myself, I'm probably just gonna make a smoothie. I don't think that I can even bear to chew right now, if I'm being honest. That's where I'm at. I'm a little bit of a mess, but this is life. Here's my chaos.
Wasn't gonna hurt me.
Oh, that's not good.
But it didn't hurt me now. It didn't.
That's good.
And I was running. And I ate for water.
Yeah. The rest of my day, I don't even know what I'm going to do with the rest of my day. I guess make dinner, get the kids ready for bed, and in bed, maybe we'll try to take another walk today because it's pretty nice out, or just play outside, I guess. And I can try to do that thing again where I read kind of while my kids play outside. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But yeah, let me just verbally process. Make dinner, play with the kids until I can get them down for bedtime. They'll probably need baths too, all that stuff. And then once my husband gets home, I mean, I would love to be able to work out today because I'm kind of weird. And when I'm like uncomfortable in one area of my body, I kind of want to like work out or be uncomfortable in another area of my body. But we'll see how I feel towards the end of the day, because like I didn't really get to write a whole lot today, and I would love to do that if I can. I also admittedly have a tendency to bite off way more than I can chew, and like want to do more than I am physically capable of doing. I don't know if anyone else has that problem, but I just like try to squeeze in so many things into my days. It's probably just so unreasonable for me to expect so much of myself every single day, and that's probably why I'm having all these health issues. I'm getting sick a lot, and like, yeah, I don't know, my body is just not happy with me, but I still want to do everything. I don't want to miss out on anything, so I don't know. It's hard, but I guess I'll keep you guys updated if I end up doing anything interesting or if I just kind of go through the motions and survive today. So that's where I'm at. Oh, and before I forget to admit this to you guys, I'm so behind on my water. Like, it's like 5 o'clock. I should be down here. So I need to like just chug this down really fast. Look at me not doing life perfectly. Like, we're just being real today, all right? Sorry, we're not getting any fun B-roll or anything today because it's been a rough day. Where I left you off last night, yeah, I made dinner, I cleaned the house, got the kids to bed, and then the rest of the evening I pretty much just spent reading because I was too like exhausted and uncomfortable to do much else, even though like my heart, like I wanted to edit a video, I wanted to write, but just yeah, it wasn't gonna happen. And then today, well, actually last night, my 2-year-old son around midnight started to throw up. So yeah, he was puking most of the night, which meant that I was pretty much up all night with him. And thankfully he's better as of this morning. He doesn't have a fever. He hasn't puked again, but like yeah, it was just all night. He was really sick, and that was really sad. I felt so bad, but also I was so tired this morning. Thankfully, my husband was able to work from home this morning, so I got to sleep in a little bit. And I also got antibiotics for this tooth problem that I'm having. So I've started taking my antibiotics. I'm on lots of painkillers and stuff like that to try to deal with it. But like it's even with the painkillers, it still hurts a lot. It's gotten substantially worse today, actually. Also, don't mind the fact that there's like a dead plant on the bed. Well, it's not actually fully dead, but the leaf that you're seeing right now is dead. I'm probably gonna get rid of that plant. Anyway, yeah, so today was mainly me surviving. I had some work to do for my like job. Thankfully, so I'm an hourly employee, and it's also a very like project and task oriented job. Frankly, it's perfect for a mom. So as long as I'm able to get my work done and like meet my deadlines, it really, unless I have a meeting or something, it really doesn't matter like what time I work. Like I don't have to get all of my hours in. I just have to finish my projects, if that makes sense. So I basically did the bare minimum when it comes to work today because I just feeling super unwell. And it does mean that next week I'm going to have to work extra hard to make sure I meet my deadlines next week because I'm not able to like get ahead on anything this week. But it'll be fine. It's necessary. I'm not feeling well. Like it's just, yeah, they get it. And as for like what the rest of the day has been like, I mean, I've mainly been reading and spending time with my kids and trying to like rest. Reading is one of the few things I feel like I can do right now because it distracts me from the pain. Something about, I guess, consuming media rather than creating it is easier when you're in pain. And it really does make me feel for people that like have chronic illnesses and chronic pain. I could not imagine like having to deal with something like this just constantly. It makes life really challenging to live. So I mean, if you're a person that deals with chronic pain, my heart goes out to you because that's really tough. And I admire the strength that people have to still go through their lives dealing with this. But yeah, suffice it to say, I want so badly to write right now, but we'll see. Maybe, I mean, the antibiotics might start really kicking in or like easing the pain by the end of the day. I'm hoping because it says it can take like a day for them to start working. But I don't know. I guess we'll find out. To be honest, I feel kind of bad because this is supposed to be like a writing vlog, kind of, but it's also a week in my life while trying to incorporate writing. So, you know, for a second I was like, should I just like stop vlogging and like give up? But listen, I'm nothing if not stubborn and maybe a little bit persevering. And I determined, you know what, like this is kind of the point of this video, is I'm just showing a slice of my life. And it just so happened that this week ended up being a little bit ridiculous. But even with all of this, I do have so much to be grateful for. And yeah, it's hard. But like the fact that I was able to get a hold of antibiotics pretty quickly to deal with this, that I have access to painkillers to deal with the pain. I have a husband that has like some, I mean, he's really busy, but he does have like a little bit of flexibility to where he could work from home a little bit today. There are things to be grateful for, and I'm managing, and it's fine. This week is not going the way that I had planned, but like what week ever does go the way that you planned? I guess life would be pretty boring if it always went the way that we planned it, right? Suffice it to say, we're doing leftovers for dinner. Part of me like just really wants to get out of the house, but the other part of me just wants to lay on the couch all day and only read, and that's it, you know? I'm gonna give myself grace. We're gonna be flexible. I would love to write because I keep on thinking about my story and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to. And of course, when I'm reading, it makes me want to write too, which just gives me that little itch. So I'll keep you guys updated on everything. But like, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Hello, happy Saturday. I'm eating a snack. It's Greek yogurt with blackberries and honey and chocolate chips, and it's very yummy. I have to work very hard to only chew on one side of my mouth because the other side, if I chew, it's not good news for me. Speaking of my tooth, when I first woke up, it still hurt a lot, but over the course of the day, it is getting substantially better. I mean, it still is uncomfortable, but it's not like the same level as unbearable as it was yesterday. I just finished uploading a video and I made a thumbnail and everything. It's the brainstorming video that came out either last week or 2 weeks ago. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to try to get this video out in time or if I'm going to take my time with editing it because it's been a week and I might need a break. And I was able to do a little bit of writing today so far, but not a whole lot because I was focused mainly on editing that video and getting it out today. As for the rest of my plans, it's honestly a really gloomy, rainy, and cold day, so going outside with the kids is not favorable, but I still want to get them out of the house at some point. So probably in the next 30 minutes or so, we're gonna head out and go on a little adventure. I don't know. I haven't decided where we're gonna go yet, but just do something because they've really just been playing around the house. I didn't feel well enough this morning to try to do anything special, but I am starting to feel better now. So I want to do that. Maybe this evening once the kids are in bed, I will spend some time actually writing, which I'm very excited to do because I have all these ideas percolating and I just want to sit down and write. I do want to talk more about writing in a second, but I do want to note that since I haven't been feeling well, I've been reading quite a bit. That's just how I've been spending my evenings. I'm now on chapter 45 of Well of Ascension, book 2 of the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, page 431. That's 70% of the way through. So I'm getting really close to the end and it's starting to get good, At this point in the book, you have to prepare yourself for the sand or lanch or whatever they call it. So I'm excited for that. I'll probably be finishing that in the next few days. And then after that, I have the second book from the Lycanius trilogy by James Islington. I have it through my Libby app, it just became available. So I went ahead and got that because the last one ended with some crazy twists and I need to know what happens. So I'm going to read that book probably next because I have a limited time with it since it's through the library. And then after that, or maybe in tandem, I'm going to be reading Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, which I'm very excited to get into. I've been wanting to read this book for forever. And since I have a physical copy, trust that I will be annotating this and it's going to be so satisfying. But anyway, back to talking about actually writing. I can't remember how much I've actually talked about this project in this video. So apologies if I repeat myself or if I'm talking with no context. My process and approach to this book is interesting. It's very different from the way that I approached Project Phoenix. So with Project Phoenix, which is the first draft that I've ever completed. I've started many books, but I've never completed any until Project Phoenix. Obviously, I intend to actually go back and revise the thing and get it to a place where I feel comfortable calling it a relatively complete manuscript. But with Project Phoenix, I was still so in the mindset early on in the process that I wanted the first draft to be as perfect as it could be. I wanted it to come out polished, and so I was spending so much time early on being really painstaking with those chapters. I would say the first 25% of the book took me forever to write because I was just so obsessive. But I also, I had a very messy brainstorming phase and I was very much brainstorming while I was writing and making a super polished first draft. Even though I didn't really know where I was going, I was pantsing most of it. I would come up with ideas for the plot and then I would get derailed because as I was getting to know my characters while I was writing, I realized, oh, my characters wouldn't make those choices and let me tweak this and that, and goodness gracious. The whole process was very messy, which I think is fine. You don't have to have a super streamlined process, but I do think that I've learned a lot of lessons about the types of things that myself as a writer need to know as I'm writing, if that makes sense. I feel some people really feel most comfortable when they structure everything out in advance, and other people like to just fly by the seat of their pants. There are certain things that I like to know and feel really set on before I actually physically start writing. And thankfully, now that I finished a first draft already, I kind of have a sense for what those things are. I think I don't need to have every single scene mapped out completely. I don't think. I feel fairly comfortable with coming up with things on the fly, but I do need to have like at least like a skeletal structure of the beginning, the middle, and the end, and a little bit of how we get to each of those points in the story. I also feel like I need to know my characters really well. Like, frankly, if I have my characters figured out and I know them really well, that can get me really far. And then, of course, there are certain world building elements, the things that are most plot relevant in the magic system and how it ties into all of the other parts of the story, like the theme and the plot and the conflict and all the limitations, and like, having all those details hashed out beforehand, I'm realizing makes me feel like more confident as a writer and more confident in the decisions that I'm making on the fly. It's like, again, I don't have to have every single beat figured out. Frankly, so many things come to me because I'm pretty sure I'm a discovery writer. So many things come to me while I'm writing, so many ideas about the world and about the characters, etc. But there are certain things that if I have them figured out beforehand, I do feel more confident in what I'm putting down and less like I'm floundering. So I'm also realizing that plotting in advance, and I was talking about trying to have a skeletal structure earlier, and that's what I'm trying to do. Actually, currently my goal right now, I am trying to make a zero draft. Like, first I started outlining, but then I was like, this isn't working for me. In my Scrivener document, I actually structured out. Initially, I had like a note section with my outline, and I was trying to make miniature arcs, and that was working for a while, but then I hit a wall once I got to like the 25% mark, and I was like, I don't really know what to do next. Like, this isn't working for my brain. So I am pivoting, and I started trying a different method. So within my Scrivener document, I made, in my manuscript section, my first draft section, I have 3 parts, and within each of those parts, I obviously have chapters and scenes. So I started building out the document, and I'm currently going through and filling in each of those like chapters and scenes with what I think is going to happen in the form of more of a zero draft. So really, it's kind of a zero draft, kind of an outline. And I'm just trying to come up with different scenes, different ideas, and kind of telling myself the story, I guess, which is mainly working well. I've gotten less detailed as I've gotten further along in the draft. And I think that part of that is because I'm such a discovery writer. Like, the first maybe 5 chapters are all quite detailed in terms of the characters that I introduce, the beats that I'm hitting, and the setting ideas that I have, and like the conflict and some of the characters' thoughts. But yeah, the further along I go, I feel like my zero draft is getting less and less robust. Like, it's just becoming more bare bones. And I'm realizing that plotting is really hard for me. It's hard for me to come up with like the plot without actually writing it through, which it puts me in a little bit of a conundrum. I have this desire to have things plotted out and to like know what my ending is going to be and to know everything's going to happen. And I thought that zero drafting would help me, and it really was helping me a lot at first, but now I'm completely hitting a wall when it comes to this dang plot. And I've realized that I'm really good at coming up with the character beats that I want to hit, but like figuring out the context of what actually gets them there is more challenging for me. And maybe I just need to turn it around and like, I don't know, do it in a different way to make it more organic. I think it's like identifying the what that happens in order to make this emotional thing happen or this character change happen is hard for me, especially like the further along that I'm getting in the book. I'm fizzling out a little bit. And it's like I have some ideas, but I'm just having trouble committing to any of them. Oh, and I'm just having a lot of doubt about the world building and some of the choices that I had made earlier on. Which, like, I'm so early on in the book, there's so much I can change. Like, that's great. But I am halfway tempted to kind of not skip the zero drafting phase entirely, but to kind of do a hybrid where, those initial chapters and scenes that feel super clear to me, I kind of want to write through them in a more polished sense, make it more of a first draft than a zero draft, and like have like an actual scene on my hands and see if that helps me to get to know my characters better. Because I found that, yes, in Project Phoenix, I did write a very polished like quarter of the book, and part of me regrets it because I do know that I'm actually going to go back and change so much at the beginning of the book because it just was not correct. But at the same time, writing it in a more polished way actually taught me a lot about my characters and about my world that I wouldn't have figured out otherwise, because I am a verbal processor. And sometimes even zero drafting like doesn't quite hit it the way that I need it to. Like I need to kind of really place myself in my character's psyche to fully understand them. So yeah, this is really just me deciding and figuring out maybe not even deciding, but just discovering like what kind of a writer I am and what I need. And I'm sure it will change with each project, but it's really interesting because yeah, I'm trying to plot. I'm trying to have things more figured out because I aspire to be one of those really intricate plotters, but I don't know that it works for my brain. My brain, like, while I'm writing the thing in a more polished way, my brain is actually quite good at coming up with ideas. If I try to like zoom out and do it in an outline form or even the zero draft form, I have some things figured out, but there are so many gaps. There are so many gaps, and I don't know if I can fill them out unless I actually start actually writing it, which makes me a little bit uncomfy because I kind of wanted to have everything figured out before starting it. But if that's not the type of writer that I am, should I be forcing myself to do something that isn't coming naturally? I aspire to do hard things. Like, I'm very okay with doing hard things and pushing through hard things to get to the gold, if you know what I mean. But I guess there's a difference between like forcing yourself to do something because it's hard, but you know that there's going to be fruit at the end of it, versus forcing yourself to fit a mold that just doesn't fit you, if that makes sense. I'm just here figuring out my process and learning about myself, and it's fun. But yeah, I guess in terms of my strengths, though, I will say like I feel I'm realizing I'm really good at identifying character beats and emotional beats, like how I want the reader to feel as well. Like I feel like I'm good at that stuff, but it's just the what, the what is hard for me. Right now, I'm going to take the kids out. We're going to go do something. Then we're going to eat dinner. Maybe when my husband gets home, because I told you guys, I mean, I know it's Saturday, but yeah, he's been gone most of the day working because this week is a really hard week for him. When he gets home, maybe I can go for a run because I just feel like I need to move my body. I've been a little bit stagnant the last couple of days, understandably so, because I've been trying to like recover, but like I'm ready to move again. Yeah, I'll touch base with you sometime later. Hello. I'm trying to stay hydrated and keep up with my water intake. I sort of slacked the last couple of days. I was still drinking more water than I was before, but yeah, I mean, you're not here to learn about my hydration habits. Today has been a very busy and productive day, and frankly, I'm feeling pretty exhausted. After I got home from church, as you saw, I cleaned the house. We also got and put away like groceries and stuff, and I did a bunch of plant chores. Like I just took care of some plants, and I was able to film a video for my plant channel as well. So now it's about 5:15, and we had a late lunch, so I'm not feeling super hungry right now. Our current plan is to make baked potatoes and put the leftover chili. It's a beautiful day, so if we feel like we have enough energy collectively as a family, we might go for a walk, or maybe I'll just go for a run or try to get some sort of an outdoor like workout in or something. I don't know. I would also love to get some writing done. Honestly, I might try to squeeze in like a 25-minute sprint right now. Like I don't have a whole lot of time before I have to get moving with the rest of my day, but my husband's downstairs with the kids, and I think I can get away with like 25 minutes. Last night, I was writing for about an hour, but it was very Like I wasn't doing dedicated zero drafting or anything like that. I did a lot of brainstorming and trying to just think about especially what kind of technology they would have in this world, because in some respects they're pretty advanced. Like they have airships, they have trains, they have some form of electricity that I'm currently calling the goddess's flame or something along those lines, where like the energy source comes from their deity, or so that is commonly believed. So like they have light bulbs, they have a form of electricity that's not terribly unlike our own. But there were some things that I was like, I don't know if it feels right to have these things in that world. So for example, cars. So if this world were analogous to like the late 1800s or early 1900s, it would probably start having at least car prototypes. Obviously, if it's a fantasy world, so like things don't have to be a one-to-one either, and the way that technology has developed in this world. But I just felt like cars would kind of complicate the plot and not fit the vibe. And I had the realization that, okay, in this world, at least in this country, they have something called the Order that is a like theocratic government that's really oppressive. But everything is just very heavily regulated, including inventions and technology. So my thinking is, if anything like doesn't feel right or feel like it would make things too easy for people to rebel against the Order, well, that's because the Order didn't let those things get invented. It's just an interesting thing to think about, and I guess even real world governments will fund areas where they want to see progress and actively block areas where they don't want progress or that they don't see value in. So this is just taking that idea and like blowing it up on a much more like obvious and intense proportion. So yeah, I was doing some research in world building and brainstorming last night in that area for like 30 to 40 minutes, but I got like 357 fairly polished words. I mean, the zero draft technically isn't done, but there are a few scenes that are really vivid in my mind, and I feel like I need to write through them in a more polished way in order to get to know some key characters and also get to know kind of how the magic system works. Like I have some ideas of how it works. I won't feel like I know how it works until I actually write it out. So I went back to, I think currently it's standing as chapter 3 or the second scene in chapter 2. I haven't fully decided. It's the beginning of a scene. I got 357 polished words because I really was striving to make it flow, make it like actual prose rather than a zero draft, because really that's where I'm making decisions, right? I feel like with a zero draft, I can get away with not making as many decisions and committing to things because I'm just brainstorming. But when I'm actually writing out the prose, I'm forcing myself to make more decisions about the story, and that helps me. I think I just had a realization. It does slow me down a lot because making decisions is exhausting to me, and writing is just a series of a lot of decisions that you're making. But at the same time, it makes the world feel a lot more real, and the characters feel more real because I'm actively deciding, okay, this is how you're going to be, at least for now, in this first draft. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. I know like I'm making very slow progress with this project, but like with Project Phoenix, for I don't know, like 3 months at least, I was writing 4,000 words a week at least in order to like finish the first draft by like the year anniversary of when I started drafting it. But with this project, it's so like, since it's not my primary project, like right now it is my focus, but like Project Phoenix is still the book that I'm trying to complete first, and like I feel like that's the project I'm taking most seriously. I guess this feels a little bit more like, oh, I'm just kind of playing around and I don't have a ton of pressure. I'm not giving myself a ton of deadlines or anything like that. I don't know, maybe I should, but I'm still getting to know the world. I'm still getting to know the characters, and I'm really kind of taking my time in that moment because there's no real pressure for me to rush the process. I feel like I won't even be capable of rushing the process until I'm farther along the project and actually know what's going on. So I'm just taking my time, letting some things percolate. I may as well start that sprint right now before I lose time. I was thinking about like reading out an excerpt to you guys, but maybe I'll do that in my next check-in. It's only like halfway through the week. I still have like 3 more days, I guess, roughly, to film, and that makes me concerned for the length of this video. So I'm gonna quit yapping and I'm gonna start writing. it's time for another check-in. It is currently 1:39 on Monday. So yesterday I did end up having like 2 short writing sessions, like one before dinner and then one after the kids were in bed. I was mainly doing more brainstorming and research, and then I also wrote, how many words was it? And I also added 379 words to that same scene, so like nothing crazy, but even if it's small progress, it's still progress, and I'm happy that I was able to do a little bit of that. After dinner, I ran a couple miles and did a little bit of strength training. So I got my workout in for the day, felt really good about that. And then I spent some time in the backyard in the late evening with the kids as the sun was setting, and our neighbors popped by as well. So like the neighbor kids got to play with my kids. And then my husband and I, once the kids were in bed, we watched the next episode of The Last of Us. And then yeah, it was bedtime and I read Mistborn in bed, of course. And I'm getting pretty close to the end of the book. And that brings us to today, Monday. It has been a very boring day. Nothing exciting has happened so far. Like I got up and I did some like decluttering around the house in the early morning, and then pretty much since 9 a.m. up until this point, I have been mostly working. I had a virtual meeting and I have a lot of projects and things that I needed to kind of catch up on because obviously last week I was a little bit indisposed and had a hard time getting anything done with like how much pain I was in. So yeah, I'm taking a quick break to check in with you, and then I'll keep on working up until my son wakes up from his nap, which is typically around 3 p.m. And then we're going to run to the zoo and just have a really, like we have a zoo pass. So my husband's going to leave work a little bit early, which will be nice because he's been staying late like all week. And we're going to have a couple of hours at the zoo together as a family. And then we have dinner at my in-laws' house tonight, which I am very excited to not have to make dinner. And then once the kids are in bed tonight, I mean, I would love to write some more, but we'll see. I also need to edit some videos. So like I'll likely be kind of juggling my time between doing maybe one writing sprint and editing a small portion of a video, or like organizing footage, and then relaxing and reading in bed as I fall asleep. So yeah, I mean, it's beautiful outside, so I'm grateful that we're going to be able to spend some time out at the zoo. Hi, Alphonse. So yeah, overall, a very typical day.
Your hair is so disheveled.
I honestly woke up feeling so at peace, which is frankly a little bit of a miracle because I feel like a lot of this week I've felt, I don't know if anxious is the right word. I don't know if anxious is too strong, but maybe I guess stressed is a better way of putting it. Just like my brain has been so full of things and pulled in so many different directions. And obviously like I was really in pain and uncomfortable. Today by far is definitely the best day that my tooth has been so far. So like that's good. I certainly didn't get enough sleep last night, but do I ever? No, not really. Unfortunately, I probably average about 6 hours of sleep every night. There was one point where it was 5 hours of sleep every night. So like 6 hours is an improvement, but it feels like 6 hours a night, especially if I get like an 8-hour night sprinkled in there every so often, is enough to sustain me pretty well at like a decent pace. So what are you playing with, Al? Oh. This is literally a little glass polar bear, and Alphonse almost broke it. Here, in case you want to look at. Oh. Here. It's really cute. I got it in Breckenridge. So yesterday was good. I finished Mistborn while I was at my in-laws' house. We were all just kind of relaxing, and I was like, I'm gonna read on my Kindle. Of course, like I always have the routine of like cleaning up the house. I try to declutter my house as much as I can every evening. Some evenings it's more than others. And I am certainly always behind on my chores. Like, I have 3 baskets of laundry to fold today. But anyway, at this point, I'm just rambling. Last night, I did get some writing done, though. I wrote 737 words. I think over the span of like a 30-minute sprint. So like, that's not bad. To be fair, some of it was a little bit more on like the zero draft side. I did like a blend of first draft and zero draft. I found that I am the quickest at writing character interactions and dialogue and internality. Like, those things all flow out really naturally and are able to kind of come out in a very first draft form. The part of writing that is more of like pulling teeth for me, I like it, but I have to think really hard about it, is setting. So if I'm trying to write through a scene more quickly in this kind of blended first draft / zero draft style that I'm going for, I do a lot of bracketing for setting, or like I'll bracket and then just kind of like describe really quickly in a very like brain dumpy way what I think it is, but like the prose is not pretty at all. What do you hear? My cat Ginny is being a little bit absurd. She's like running back and forth and she's meowing and she's entirely puffed up. It's kind of hilarious. Anyway, the other things that I tend to bracket in zero draft are certain elements that might have to do with world building, and also certain elements that I think are a little bit boring, where I'm like, he's going from like this place to another place, and I could describe that, or I might end up summarizing it in the book, but I just like haven't decided how I want to approach that like one transitional piece. Yeah, I think the transitions, like that's another thing that I tend to zero draft, is like figure out like a nice way to transition between these settings or whatever. I just continued that scene, and it's kind of fun because we're getting a sense of like what the magic system is like and what the rules are. Even in the first draft, I'm trying to not just like write out the rules in paragraph form. I'm trying to weave it into the narrative. What is shown to the reader is reinforced by some of the things that my main character is thinking as he's doing it. So it's a mess. It's gonna need so much rewriting, but like the beats of the scene are there. So like I'm happy that I made so much progress. Now, as for like what I'm gonna do today, by some miracle, so my daughter is at school now. Today is her first day back at school after spring break, and my son, by some miracle, is still asleep. Oh my gosh, he's gonna wake up any minute. But pretty much all morning, I'm planning on mainly being stationed here. Obviously, while I'm watching my son, I'm gonna be like interrupted a lot. I'm gonna like stop and get him food and play with him and whatever. But he is pretty good at entertaining himself for like big chunks of time if I can find a toy that he's interested in. So like I'll just hang down here, he'll be playing over there, and I think I'll be able to get some like decent writing sprints in. So mainly this morning, yeah, I think I'm going to start with writing, actually. I don't usually start with writing, but I want to start with writing because I kind of stopped in the middle of the scene and I know what's going to happen next. And so that's like a little bit less intimidating to jump into than trying to start a scene from the very beginning. So yeah, I'm going to jump straight in. And then once I have written a fair amount, I mean, I don't have like a specific goal, but you know, it's going to be vibes, right? After that, I'm going to do some work. I don't have to do a ton of work today because I actually worked a lot yesterday, and I'm going to work a lot tomorrow. Like tomorrow is like my full 8-hour day basically that I tend to put in on Wednesdays. So Tuesdays are kind of a flex day where if I have a lot of projects to do, I can try to squeeze them in. But if I don't, then I can do some more writing and like actual fun things that I like to do. So yeah, I'm probably going to work for like an hour after I've written for like an hour. And then after that, I think I'm going to edit a video for maybe another 30 minutes to an hour for my plant channel, the one that I filmed the other day. Then I'll probably get lunch for my son. We'll probably spend some time outside and he'll go down for his nap. And during that time, oh, he totally just woke up. I'll go get him in a second. And then during his nap time, I think I'm going to try to film another video for my plant channel just because I'm just behind and I want to start to get ahead. I want to like batch film a bunch of videos like as much as I can this week and next week. All right, I'm going to go get him. And we'll chat later once I get caught up on all this. What's that?
E.
Oh my gosh, we have been so productive today. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of feeling it. I'm feeling really exhausted. But okay, listen. This morning I managed to write 438 words, which is solid. And there was like a little bit of zero drafting in there, but a lot of it was like actual prose, which was nice. I also edited about 10 minutes of my video. I have like 45 minutes of footage for my like plant video that I filmed the other day. So yeah, I got through about 10 minutes of that, which is like not bad. It's solid. I also finished a work project and I filmed a video for my plant channel. It was also another 45 minutes of footage, which by my standards, like that's really nice. I was being concise. So they're going to be very manageable videos for me to edit. And most exciting, I just found out that I live very close to another author tuber. I'm so excited. I don't want to say who it is yet because like I don't know how she feels about like her privacy and stuff like that, but like I barely know how to process it. I'm just so excited to like have a local writing friend. There will probably be writing dates in our future. I can't believe it. It's like, it's so surreal, you know, like what are the odds that we live within driving distance of each other? I'm very excited about that development. And another thing, my son is still napping and my daughter's not home from school yet. And I finished like all of my goals. So that means I can probably write a little bit more. I haven't decided if I want to write or edit a video or read. Like all those things, I feel like those are like, if I have free time, those are my three foremost options that I tend to choose from. So we'll see what I'm in the mood for. I might try to get started with writing, but since I'm so tired, I don't know how well I'll be able to do that. I might just pivot to reading just to like have a little bit of a break after a very productive morning and early afternoon. Actually, I think I do want to write at least 85 words. Because I am at 8,914 words, which means if I just get in under 100 words, I will be at 9K for this like first/0 draft. And that's actually really exciting and bizarre. Like, how do I already have that much in this draft? So, okay, that's where I'm at. As for the rest of the day, I probably have 30 minutes to myself right now. We actually have company coming over tonight, so I'm pretty much gonna be cleaning the house and making dinner from like 3 o'clock on. So like that's gonna be less entertaining. And also tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm gonna be working all day long, so it's also going to be a really boring day. So I think I'm going to close out this weekly vlog here because I don't really know what other opportunity I'm going to get to chat with you guys and film, and nothing really interesting is going to happen between now and Wednesday afternoon. So if I do end up writing some more, I will like let you know what progress I made on the screen. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like or comment or subscribe. Like all those things are really helpful for my channel, and I just love building this writing community with you guys. I think this was my first full, like complete week in my life video, so let me know if you liked this format and want me to do this sometimes. It's kind of a lot to film every single day and try to like capture the essence of what's happening that day, but it was also kind of fun to share it and like have an outlet to verbally process everything that was going on. So until next time.